we are skipping over page 397 at the bottom, finding p-values and critical values, because I will be going over how to find the p-value when we look at doing these problems in the next section on the calculator. So we'll just skip over that for now. So on the next page, page 398, we'll be working with number 26. And we're told to assume a significance level of alpha equals 0.05 and to A, state a conclusion about the null hypothesis, that is, to either reject or fail to reject the null hypothesis. And second of all, without using technical terms, to state a final conclusion that addresses the original claim. Okay, so let's take a look at number 26. The original claim is that fewer than 20% of M&M candies are green. The hypothesis test results in a p-value of 0.0721. Okay, the one thing about the p-value I guess we need to talk about here is the fact that when the p-value is less than, or when the p-value is less than or equal to the alpha, whatever our given significance level is, that we reject the null hypothesis if it's less than. If it's greater than or equal to, then we fail to reject. So in the case of a p-value equals 0.0721, the p-value is less than the value of the significance level, which is alpha. 0.07 actually is greater than, greater than, okay, this is 0.0721, this is 0.05, so that means we're going to fail to reject the null hypothesis. So what we want to say is that there is not sufficient evidence to warrant rejection of the claim to support the claim that fewer than 20% of M&M candies are green. So again, there is not sufficient evidence to support the claim that fewer than 20% of the M&Ms are green. So when we fail to reject, it's actually, in this case, supporting the null hypothesis, which says it's equal to. So it's not enough evidence to support the claim that there are fewer than 20% M&Ms green M&Ms. So let's see if I can write it out. There is not enough evidence to support the claim that less than 20% of the M&Ms are green. Okay, let's try one more of these. All right. 28. The original claim is that women have heights with a standard deviation equal to 5.00. The hypothesis test results in a p-value of 0.0055. Okay, so in this one we see our p-value, this is the one where it's less than, is less than alpha. We have a 0.05 for alpha. We have a 0.0055 for our p-value. So we're going to reject the null hypothesis. So what does that mean in terms of our statement. Okay, our original claim was that it was equal to. Well, we're rejecting that. So we want to say there is sufficient evidence to warrant rejection of the claim that women's heights, notice how we're taking this from the claim itself, have a standard deviation of 5.00 centimeter, or equal to 5.00 centimeters. All right. Now, our next one we're going to do is number 30, and it's got a lot of parts. So I'm going to move to a clean page. And we have parts A through H. Okay, so I'm going to read the problem first, and then we'll go one by one through the requests. A 0.05 significance level is used for a hypothesis test of the claim that when parents use X sort gender method of gender selection, the proportion of baby girls is different from 0.5. Assume that sample data consists of 55 girls born in 100 births, so the sample statistic of 0.55 results in a z-score that is 1.00 standard deviations above 0. Okay, so identify the null and alternative hypothesis test. No, not test, but a null hypothesis and the alternative. Okay. Claim that when parents use the proportion of baby girls different from, so P is equal to 0.5, and our claim, and this is what I like to do, is that it's different from, so not equal to. What is the value of alpha? We're given significance level of 0.05. Okay, part C, what is the sampling distribution of the sample statistic? Okay, so when we're talking about okay, they're talking about what is it? We're working with a proportion, so it will be a normal. Okay. Is the test two-tailed, left-tailed, or right-tailed? It's a two-tailed test because of the not equal to. That's what makes it two-tailed. All right, part E, what is the value of the test statistic? So Z will be 0.1. P-value is going to be, and I'm going to do this quickly. What we do is we look up the value for one. Let's see. Actually, a -1 is the better one to look up. -1.0. We get 0.1587. See what we have here. I'll try to explain. We got a two-tailed test. And so 1 is a z-score, so we need the corresponding z-score on the negative side. And so what we want is, we want the area to the left and to the right. So the easiest thing to do is to look up this one and just double it. So if I look up -1, I get, let me get on the right line here, 0.1587, and I want to double that because I have two tails, so I get 0.3174. So that's about as much as we'll do about p-value without the calculator. What is the critical value? Okay, so we have our z-score is, okay, so alpha is 0.05, so that's the one we need to look up. Okay, 0.05. Get our positive and negative table, and I'm just going to look up the negative table. I want to get as close in the body of the table to 0.05 as I can get, and that's negative 1.645. No, that's not correct. Oh, it would be 0.025. I'm not thinking. We have to divide it between two tails. That would be our areas. So the corresponding z-score for 0.025, got to get on the right line here in the table, is negative 1.96. That makes more sense. So our critical values would be plus and minus 1.96. Okay. EFG. Okay, on G, what is the critical value? That's what I just found. And what is the area of the critical region? Well, it's the 0.025 plus the 0.025, or the 0.05 that I just split up. Okay, so that's number 30. And a couple of things I want to point out. They talk about type 1 and type 2 errors, so you may want to look at that in the book. Also in the book, previously this was done as a flow chart, but at the top of page 391, it's table 8-3, has the wording of the final conclusion. So it says original claim does not include equality and you reject the null hypothesis. There is sufficient evidence to support the claim that, and then you state the original claim. Original claim does not include equality and you fail to reject the null hypothesis. There is not sufficient evidence to support the claim that, and then you state the original claim, and so forth. So that's where you can get the wording for the conclusion. I was looking for a flow chart, and what I found was the one for calculating the p-value. So that's where that is located. They simply changed it in this edition. So calculating p-values is that flow chart I showed you. It shows you left-tailed, two-tailed, and right-tailed. So it tells you how to calculate it. We'll probably mostly use the calculator for that, though.